Today is December 31st, 2024, or 2024. It's New Year's Eve, and I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Today on my channel, I'm going to try to install an old car stereo in my van. Now, I made a video many years ago about installing a cheap $19 Chinese car stereo in my van that was had a cigarette lighter adapter to where I could plug in the cigarette lighter for power when I wanted to, and it had its own cheap speakers in it. But today I'm going to take that out and I'm going to try to install an old car stereo that came out of a 1997 Ford Mustang. My wife used to have a 1997 Ford Mustang. She bought it brand new back in '97. And then after she had the car for a while, she took out the factory car stereo and she installed a better car stereo that had a CD player, because back in the day, the car did not have a CD player. And she installed another one. We sold that car probably 20 years ago. And the old factory car stereo from that '97 Ford Mustang has been sitting in my garage for all these years, and today I'm going to try to install that car stereo in my van.
My name is Doug. I'm a retired school teacher. I built a camper van out of an old service van. I will take you with me camping, fishing, going to the beach, going to baseball games. I'm going to teach you how to save some money. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Holiday Tinn.
Okay, got my coffee made. Step number one is to find this old car stereo in my garage. My garage is a mess. Go ahead and find that car stereo. Oh, my workbench is a mess. I'm betting that it's in the box labeled electronics. I'm gonna try this box right here. Electronics. Aha! Old car stereo right here. Ford. Came out of the '97 Mustang. Says right there where the cassette player is. Ford. Okay, so first problem is that I did not save any wiring harness for this. Now, when I bought the van back in 2021, my original thought was that I was going to put this in the van, and unfortunately, when we took this, or when this was taken out of the Mustang, no wiring harness was saved for this. So we're going to see, I believe it plugs in right here, so we're going to see if this works. Okay, most people will tell you that if you're going to install anything electronic, or car stereo, or any other type of electronic components, you should always disconnect the negative terminal to the battery. And the reason is you don't want to short something out. And I believe there's a plug in here that I could just plug into the back of that car stereo. I'm hoping the male plugs are left from the old factory stereo that was in this van before I bought it. So I'm gonna start digging in here and we're gonna see what we've got. Okay, about 2 years ago, I made a video about installing this old car stereo, this cheap Chinese car stereo in here. And the way this works is I've rigged it up to this cigarette lighter, just like my Bluetooth is rigged up to the cigarette lighter. And the reason I did it this way was because I wanted to manage the power. I didn't want to drain the battery with a constant feed of power to this that keeps the clock set, and I didn't want to be able to have it drain the battery, the main car battery. So I set it up this way so I could plug it into my cigarette lighter adapter if I want to, right here or there, or I could plug it into a Jackery battery if I want to, and it wouldn't drain the power of my car battery. So I'm gonna take this out, but I'll show you real quick how this works, and that is if I plug it into one of these ports right here and push on the power. Let's see, where's my power here? And anyway, that's the way it works. I just wanted to show you how I can manage the power. I can plug this into a Jackery battery if I wanted to, and use the power from the Jackery instead of draining the car battery. Anyway, I'm going to take this out, and we're going to see what kind of plugs we got back there. Hooked up. This is just going to my cigarette lighter adapter. That's where these red and blacks go down here to my cigarette lighter. Comes through the dash right here, and I could just undo these wire nuts. You know what? I was going to talk about wire nuts, and you know, I'm old school, and that is I came up in high school in the 80s, early 80s, and even back in the 70s when I was in grade school. Anytime we did something electronic back with cars, back in the day, like car stereos, we always used wire nuts and electrical tape. And I know a lot of people on YouTube, they will tell you that they don't like this, they don't do this, that using these fancy connectors that you crimp all the time are way better. And that may be true, but I gotta be honest with you, every time I've tried to use connectors that I crimp, wire connectors, I have connection problems sometimes. So I always stick with what works for me and what I know best. And wire nuts with electrical tape, if you twist them on really well and you tape them up really well, and you tape them with there's a V junction right here with tape, so that I make it so that there's not a lot of stress on the wire that goes up into the nut. If you make a V junction with the tape down here, that way these kind of float by themselves and there's no pressure or tension put on the wires that are up in the nut. If you don't do that, the wires can come loose in that nut and the wires can come out of the nut. But I like wire nuts. I'm old school, and that's what I do, so that's what I've been using. Okay, if I look at the back of the old Mustang stereo, there's no plug here, no female plug that this one would fit into. So I've got a dilemma here. I'm gonna go to the auto parts store. We're gonna see if there's any type of adapter that they have that will fit into the back of this old Ford car stereo. I'm off to another O'Reilly's to see if I can get a wiring harness, because the first one didn't. I'm at the O'Reilly's, see what we can figure out. All they have are the female plugs. I need male plugs. These are female. These are what's on the back. There we go. These are female plugs on here. And all the cell are female wiring harnesses. Plugs over there that have the male.
Anything that we have will be out there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so bus number 2 I'm gonna go try the Ford parts at the Ford dealership, and taking a shot in the dark that they're gonna be open. I tried to call over there and they put me on hold, so I'm just gonna drive over there, see if they're open, and we'll see what we can find out. Okay, here we are, headed to the Ford dealership. Let's see if parts department has the wiring plugs or wiring harness. Let's see what happens here. Taking a shot in the dark to see if we might have those. I don't know. Went to O'Reilly, they said they didn't. They got the female plugs like that fit this year's vehicle. For some reason they don't have the male plugs.
That's going to be, so what you're looking for is this one right here,
Yeah.
and this one right here.
Yeah, the one they have is exactly like that. It's got the pins and everything just like that.
They should have one that'll fit right in here, and one that'll fit right in here.
They don't.
They used to be around, I don't know if they're...
Because that's the one that comes from the vehicle, right? The wiring
Right, you
harness.
splice everything in.
Yeah, they don't
So,
have.
let's see, should be something like that.
So I'd have to get it off eBay.
Or, yeah, somebody's going to be selling them on here. But I don't have them.
You guys don't have them. Oh, okay.
They are available.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
Okay?
Okay, so the Ford dealership was also a fail. They don't have them. The guy told me the best bet to get that wiring plug is to get it off of eBay. So I'm gonna see what I can do. Next thing to try is I am going to junkyard, auto wrecker yard. See if I can find the wiring harness to any Ford vehicle from 1996 to 98. Since that's 97 Ford Mustang, I'm gonna see if I can get those plugs at the wrecking yard. Okay, I got the wiring plugs going to the stereo, and the guys at the wrecking yard were really cool. I'm not sure if it was a father and a son, but they were both really cool. I asked them if they wanted to be on video, and they said no, they wanted to be on video, maybe another time, but that's cool. Both those guys were really cool dudes. It took me a while to go to the ATM, get some money, come back, and they were out in the yard pulling stereos out of vehicles, and then they got those two plugs for me. So I should be set, and I'm running out of some daylight right now, so I'll probably have to finish this video tomorrow on New Year's Day, and I'm headed home right now. Okay, it's New Year's Eve, and I've spent most of my evening tonight looking at wiring diagrams on the internet. So these are the two plugs that I got from the wrecking yard after doing some careful studying on the internet. Turns out this one is an 8-pin plug, and it goes right in here. Fits in there like that. It'll clip in, but I don't want to clip it in. This one is going to be my speaker wires after looking at several wiring diagrams on the internet. Figured that out. And then this one is going to be all my power and ground for the stereo, and I have to figure out which ones are which. Now all these wiring diagrams, there's about, I don't know, 25 different wiring diagrams for Ford. I can't find the exact one for the 97 Mustang. When you look at these things, they're pretty confusing. In the years from 93 to 98 were very similar. The color coding's different, but it seems like the pins kind of match up. And I believe I'm gonna go with this one. It tells me some colors here, grounds, and things like this. And I'm gonna test this out on my workbench tomorrow with probably cigarette lighter and a Jackery battery. I've got a bright light on right now, but if you look close at these, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a lot of dirt because these came from the wrecking yard, and the cars out on the wrecking yard all had a lot of dirt and dust in them. So I'm gonna try to take a small toothbrush and clean the dirt off these things tomorrow. I don't want the dirt to get in the plug and with the pins. So I'm gonna try to clean the dirt off of these things tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Some of the diagrams that I'm looking at says that this number 1 pin right here, mine's a blue one on this plug. Some of the diagrams say this is dark blue, and most of them say that this is a ground wire. And then this one, most of them say this isn't used. Some of them say that this orange and green, it looks like, or red and green, is a ground. And then this is my number 3 right here. It's green and black on my plug, but on most diagrams it says this is a ground. And then this one on my diagram looks like it's red and green maybe. And most of the diagrams show that this is the number 4, and it goes to the LCD lighting. And then this one looks like it's black and white on my plug, but most of these diagrams say that this is either light blue and green or light blue and black. Depends on what you look at, but it says that this one right here, it's the number 5, and the number 5 pin, it says that this one is instrument panel lighting. So these two, I don't know if I'm going to actually hook those two up. And then this one looks like it's yellow and black on my plug. Most of the diagrams say that this one is the power. This would be your 12 volt power feed, which would be when your key ignition is turned on. And then this is a black one on mine, but almost all the diagrams say this is a ground. And then this one is a radio memory. This looks like it's green and yellow to me, but some of the diagrams say this is a pink and a light green. So this one will be your radio memory. So this one will always be on. I'm gonna have that on a constant power feed. This one will be the ignition. This will be the ground. And then these two, I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually hook them up. I'll probably hook that one to ground, and then I'll probably leave these ones not hooked up to anything. So it's gonna take some trial and error. So I've mentioned it on my channel before, and that is I am not a mechanic. So when you watch my videos for things like this, use them as a reference. I'm not an expert. I'm just like you. Look up things on the internet, do a lot of trial and error. So if you're gonna make decisions about hooking up electronics in your vehicle or your van, you can use my video as a reference. But remember, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an electrician. I guess I just play one on YouTube. Anyway, do your own research and don't rely solely on my video. Well, it's officially midnight. Happy New Year 2025. I'll finish this video tomorrow.